Welcome to another iPaceOwner show, and today I'm at Peterborough Extra Services where the Ionity charges have just gone online. See them just ahead of us here, which is really good. So we're going to try these out. I'm actually going to go the far end just to make it a little bit easier to park, and we'll see how we get on. Now, I wonder how long these cables are. Oh, these are the nice cables with the plouts at the top. I'll show you that in a second. Probably come slightly further forward than that, and park. Let's go see. Now I'm going to take some precautions because these are high touch areas. I'm going to put some gloves on. Obviously, current situation. And let's see what we've got. Tap to start. Connect. Okay, let's connect. Now these, as I say, they've got pulleys up there, if you can see that. Just pull them out and they come out quite nicely. And then obviously you take the flap off your car. And that's really good because it means you don't have to reach quite so far. You can see the arrangement there. And let's see if we can start. Okay, so this is actually going to require payment, so it's like 69 pence per kilowatt hour, but we've got another option for this. So I'm just going to get my phone and we're going to set. Okay, what I'll do, we'll try the Maingau card. So this time I'm going to try the Maingau card and see what happens. And no good charging. Flashing indicator going on. Doesn't actually tell you much about what you're actually charging at or anything yet. Let's see if it does when it gets going. Yeah, so 73. I'm pretty happy with that. It was a little bit more challenging than I expected. I'd hoped to be able to use the Chargepoint card on this Ionity, but it's not on their system yet by the looks of things, and I couldn't get it to register on the app or using the card. You can pick up a card pretty easily for Chargepoint. They'll send them out in the post for you. Just organise it, and yeah, normally it's just sort of take the card, tap and go, but it didn't want to work for me this time. So I ended up using the trusty Maingau card, which did work and started. Now I obviously didn't want to use Ionity's own application because if I'd done that it would have cost me the grand total of 69p per kilowatt hour, which is what the current cost for Ionity is in the UK, which is rather expensive. They do have a cap on that. It's £67. Yeah, quite a bit. Now obviously on an iPace, 69p per kilowatt hour, it's going to cost you a small fortune to charge, so I wouldn't want to use that, and I probably wouldn't use Ionity at all if that was my only choice. But I have got other choices, and I've got a couple of payment methods I can use. As I mentioned, Chargepoint. Chargepoint are brilliant at the moment. They're still using a fixed fee. I don't know how long this will last, but at the moment it's £7.60 per session. So that's basically fully charge your iPace for £7.60. Really good. You've also got the Jaguar public charging app. Now, Jaguar public charging app is slightly more expensive. It's £8.80 per session. But I know there are some discounts available on the Jaguar public charging app in Europe. I'm not sure if that actually applies for these charges. You'd have to check. But you may want the convenience of using the Jaguar public charging app. Some people have got fobs for that. Very easy to start the charge. It might be worth that for you for the convenience. I couldn't get either of those to work here. As I mentioned, I think that neither of them have actually got these new chargers on the system. Not surprising, they only went live yesterday. But yeah, I mean, it's not too problematic there. Now also, because I'm only actually charging about 20 kilowatts today, 20 kilowatt hour, sorry, it's actually better for me to use the Maingau card. and I'll explain why. So Maingau have this charging of per kilowatt hour, but it's a flat fee they charge of 35 € per kilowatt hour, and they then add on to that a country cost. Now some countries that'd be really expensive. Denmark, for example, it's 60 cents extra on the cost, so that would actually be 95 cents per kilowatt hour, which is more than Ionity would charge. So I think you have to sort of play it a little bit by ear on the Maingau card when you're in Europe, but in the UK it's definitely worth looking at because it's only 5 cents extra per kilowatt hour. Now there is an overstay charge. If you stay over 60 minutes you're going to get charged 10 cents per minute. If you're charging on Ionity for 60 minutes, you're doing something wrong, to be honest. You should be able to get it on and get off in at least around about 40-50 minutes at the maximum. But anyway, as long as you're charging under an hour, all you're going to get charged is 40 cents, or at the current exchange rate, which is, when I recorded this, was about 90p per euro, it's about 36 pence. Now if you do the maths on that, if I'm charging for 20 kilowatt hours, that's only £7.20. which is less than the £7.60. So you could actually charge up to 21 kilowatt hours for less than it would cost you for the fixed fee on the Chargepoint card. And sometimes that's what you want to do. You want to just kind of slash and dash, just get you onto the next charge point. It's bad terminology for electric charging, but I'm not quite sure what the right terminology would be for a quick charge and electric charger. A zap, maybe a zap is the right way to go. Yes, if you want to get a quick zap and get going. Anyway, so if you want to do a quick zap and keep going, 20 kilowatt hours would do pretty well. I mean, we know we can get to quite a long way on 20 kilowatt hours. So just under a quarter of a tank on the iPace. So 50-60 miles of range, so that might be all you need to get home, and then it's worth doing it on the Maingau card. As I say, I'm not sure how long the Chargepoint deal will actually last. It seems it's left over from when before the Ionity went on to this per kilowatt charging. It may be to do with deals they had signed. They may be able to keep it going for a certain amount of time, but I wouldn't rely on it being there forever. But at the moment it's definitely a good deal, and it does work. I mean, I know it didn't work here, but I did try it at Leeds Skelton the other week and it worked fine. I had to go up there for an essential journey, and it worked well, and that was the similar sort of chargers to these ones. These chargers are great, actually. I have to say, I like this new design of charger. There's only one thing I would like to see on them, which is a canopy. Let me show you that. So this is the charger, and you can see it's got a sort of funny thing at the top which is supposed to indicate at night that it's on. Turns on and lights up, but it's got this great assistance for the cable. So you can see the cable is held up there by a much thinner cable, and it means you can pull that out and plug it in, and it's great. It means it doesn't drape across your bonnet like the other Ionities do. The Milton Keynes ones, sometimes I really fear they're going to scratch my car, so that's really good. But I'd love to see that bit up there replaced by some sort of canopy to protect us while we're charging. Yeah, not really sure why we can't have something to protect us. I mean, most garages have a hood or canopy to protect you when it's raining, and it rains a lot in the UK, so it can't do the charge screens any good either. Touchscreens often don't work when it's raining, so yeah, I'd much rather see that as a proper over-the-top canopy. But there we go. It's obviously cost cutting, I would think. But other than that, these chargers are pretty convenient. They're very easy to plug into, as I say. Don't have to worry about squeezing quite up to the bollards like you do on the other Ionities. Very easy to use. It's sort of 2 taps on the screen, as you probably saw, to get going. Plug it in, and then just make sure you're able to use the card to actually start it up. And hopefully, if you can use a Chargepoint in the future, that'll be just 1 tap as well. One of the nice things about the Chargepoint app is you could actually use that as an RFID card if you've got your NFC on your phone, so you can just tap your phone to the reader and that'll work. Yeah, so that's a pretty good addition to the chargers in Peterborough. Obviously you have got some other options here. There's just down the road at Alton Gate, there's an Ionity charger, which is £6 fixed fee, or at the moment free of charge. It's on free vend. So I mean, that's obviously a better bet at the moment than this, but equally this is convenient. It's just off the A1. It's easy to find. The Alton Gate one isn't necessarily easy to find if you don't know the area. So yeah, I'd like to see this, that we're starting to get chargers other than electricity at services. It makes a lot of sense to have other people's chargers here. I know My friends who drive Zoes are not too happy about the fact that these are Ionity here, and also my friends who drive Nissan Leafs because they can't use them. But that does mean they're going to be free for us. I think one of the best things about this is it's quite a way away from the services. And the services are back over there, which tends to be a good thing from the point of view you won't get iced. Obviously, not so good if it's raining, you want to get to the services, but I'll take that over getting iced any day. Nobody's parked up here while I've been here, so it's really good. So we've got 6 chargers, all 350 kilowatt powered ones. Obviously we're not going to get that in the iPace. I've been getting about 70, which is perfectly fine for me. I'm happy with that. The car was cold when I arrived here, which is not unreasonable because it's cold outside. It's rainy and cold. I hadn't driven very far, so the battery wouldn't have warmed up. It did get better as the charge went on, so I guess the battery warmed up as it was charging and started to get a bit higher rates from the way it first started. But I'm happy with that. I mean, I know I'm not going to get 100 kilowatts except for under pretty remarkable circumstances. If I get 70-80 kilowatts, I'm absolutely happy for that, and that will charge fast enough for me to get on with my journey usually. Nice here because you've obviously got all the services, which when they open up after what's going on now will be really useful. But yeah, excellent addition, I think. I'd like to see Ionity readdress the pricing. I think they've got this wrong. I know it works well for their consortium to encourage people to buy their cars, but I think it'd be nice if the charge wasn't quite so high. It would encourage people to use them more, or allow some sort of private subscription to Ionity, so you can get a reduced rate, a bit like the Polar subscription. I'd like something like that. So that's made me think a bit about chargers. I've done a couple of long journeys recently, essential journeys, and they have involved charging at both Ionity at Skelton Lakes, which was really good. Nice to see that actually there and open. Very similar chargers to these ones, worked very well. They worked with the Chargepoint card. But I also went to Sunderland and charged using the FastNed charger, and I was really impressed by that because I plugged the car in and it started charging, and I wasn't expecting that. I know they've got the auto charge feature. You may have seen my video in Germany of me using the auto charge feature on the FastNed, where it just recognises the car from the CCS protocol. Really good, that. And then it charges it to your FastNed account. So I didn't even have to think. I just plugged the car in, it started charging. Excellent stuff. And that's really what I was thinking about. I don't see why we have to have buttons on chargers. There's probably a reason I'm not aware of, and maybe someone technical can jump in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong with this. But all these charger types have got detector pins on. They know when they're plugged in. So surely they can work out when you've plugged in a CCS, or you've plugged in a Jaguar, or you've plugged in a Type 2 cable, and just switch to that charger. Now I know you need some way of taking payment, but if we accept that contactless or RFID is going to be the way to go, you just prompt at that point. Plugged in. If it doesn't recognise your car as one with an account, so I mean perhaps Polo, if you've got a Polo account, it should recognise you've got a Polo account. It just starts charging. Makes sense to me. I don't really understand the complexity of these screens. It's almost like someone wanted to do a user interface for doing user interface sake on these chargers. They're very cumbersome and complex, and that's not what we want. We want it easy. I mean, it's the biggest question I get asked from newbie drivers is, how do I use the chargers? What do I need to do? And it's so complicated to do it. You can see today, I mean, the complexity of actually working out what's the cheapest way to charge. It shouldn't be like that. It should be very easy, very straightforward. But anyway, I think we should simplify it. So my manifesto for chargers, I think they should have covers, canopies, so we can shelter them from the rain. I think that'll actually reduce the costs for the charger manufacturers over time, because they wouldn't have so many repairs to do, because they wouldn't get wet on the screens and cause problems with the touch screens, which I know, I'm pretty sure has happened. I'm pretty sure that happened on my German trip with the Ionity chargers, because every time it was raining I couldn't use them. I think that they should have covers. I think they should just use plug and go, and that should be one of two ways. If you've got an account which it can detect, it should just start charging. If you've got multiple accounts, it may need to prompt for that, but that should be a very straightforward prompt. Or it should prompt for payment, and it should be just, you shouldn't have to touch any screens to do your payment. You should either be able to pay for your RFID card or your contactless, and it should detect which one you've used. And I think it should be as straightforward as that. To be honest, the Genie chargers are pretty close to that now. You just have to press one button. These were actually pretty good. I mean, I had to press one button to get it started, and then it wanted a tap to start charging, and it started charging. So that was pretty good. But I don't know why it couldn't just detect the fact I've plugged the car in. As I say, there may be a technical reason. I'd love to know that if there is. So post away below. Anyway, I haven't done many videos the last few weeks because of the fact I have been obviously under lockdown, not been allowed to go drive anywhere, following the rules. I haven't really been able to have a chance to record anything, but I am now going to do a few more recordings, hopefully. This one's quite short, but hopefully it's giving you some food for thought, and it shows you how complex this whole charging arrangement is currently. But equally, hopefully it will save you some money as well. Definitely don't pay full price on Ionity. They're still good chargers, and they're really good chargers, and they need the money to invest to put them in. I just wish they hadn't gone as quite as expensive as they are. Or, as I said, give some sort of discount rate if you subscribe. Anyway, that's all for now. I'll catch you on the next one.